Listen up, Lions faithful. This is Lions News Fan Report roaring into your feed with a bombshell that's got Detroit's heartbeat racing. If you believe our defense deserves every chance to roar back into prominence, smash that like button. And subscribe right now, because today's speculation could reshape our entire defensive identity. Picture this. It's a crisp morning in Allen Park when word breaks that Alex Anzalone, the veteran linebacker whose sideline intensity once rallied our front seven, has been released by the team. Can you feel the shockwave? Could this be the first act in a master plan to revamp our run-stopping core? Is Brad Holmes ready to pull the trigger on a seismic shift that fans have been whispering about since last season's fade at the goal line? Let's rewind to Anzalone's arrival in 2022. Signed to bring playoff experience and instinctive blitz timing, he delivered moments of brilliance. A timely sack in New Orleans, a forced fumble against Minnesota, even a game-sealing stop in primetime Chase. But after a nagging groin injury and a stretch of games where snaps dwindled, questions began swirling. Was his explosion still elite? Did Detroit's emerging young linebackers like Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes outshine the veteran's steady but unspectacular pace? Now, with his departure official, those gaping holes in our second level loom larger than ever. Imagine Aaron Glenn pacing the sideline in training camp, eyes fixed on Campbell filling the void, yet whispers circulate of a potential blockbuster addition. Could Holmes be eyeing a surprise free agent blitz merchant, someone with the raw edge to terrorize quarterbacks on third down? What if the Lions have already circled a proven playmaker, waiting for the right moment to pounce once the market opens? Some scouts say Detroit's cap flexibility hints at a strategic clearance to bring in fresh talent. Might Anzalone's exit be the opening salvo in a line of dominoes set to fall? But before we get ahead of ourselves, consider the human element. Teammates reportedly met in the film room this week, sharing anecdotes of Anzalone's leadership, his door-knock film sessions, the motivational speeches that rattled rookies awake long before dawn. Could this release send a warning flare across the locker room, signaling that no role is guaranteed? Or is it the ultimate vote of confidence in the youth movement, that Campbell's sideline fire and Barnes's playmaking instincts have earned them the spotlight? Statistically speaking, Anzalone's 2024 campaign featured 45 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 QB hit. Not bad numbers for rotational duty, but hardly the disruptive force some envisioned. Contrast that with his 2022 peak of 7 tackles for loss and 2 sacks in limited action. Was that surge a flash of vintage form, or the last gasp before wear and tear took its toll? Some insiders suggest his play speed dipped by half a second. In the 40-yard dash compared to his combines, and in today's lightning-fast offenses, hesitation can be a death sentence. Could Detroit's coaching staff have watched more tape than we see on Sundays and decided the risk outweighed the reward? Meanwhile, fan forums are ablaze. Is this the turning point in our rebuild? One post demands. Another fan asks, can we trust Holmes to find a true centerpiece for our linebacker room? Or are we setting up for another cycle of almosts? And lurking in the background is the question on every savvy observer's mind. Does this move hint at targeting a true star, someone like a Patrick Queen type? Or is Detroit opting for multiple mid-tier signings to foster competition? It's a chess match of roster construction, and with Anzalone off the board, every subsequent move carries amplified weight. Behind the scenes, whispers claim sources close to the organization have already started vetting options north of $8 million a year, signaling a readiness to spend big at the position. Could a surprise visit from a Pro Bowl-caliber linebacker be on the horizon? And what does this mean for special teams? Will someone like Riley Moss step up in coverage while our linebackers shuffle? The ripple effects are endless, and the timing, mere weeks before mandatory minicamp, feels almost too calculated. So here we stand, Lions fanatics, at the edge of a cliff where the only certainty is uncertainty. Alex Anzalone's chapter has closed, but the story is far from over. Will this bold roster purge herald the dawn of a ferocious, revitalized defense? Or will the void he leaves behind prove harder to fill than anyone imagined? Keep your eyes glued to this channel and your heart racing, because in Detroit, we don't just react to headlines, we ignite them. If you're fired up for a defensive revolution in Detroit, smash that like button and let's finish this saga together. Lions faithful. With Alex Anzalone's departure clearing nearly $8 million in cap space and opening up a roster spot, the stage is set for Brad Holmes and Aaron Glenn to swing for the fences. Imagine a new veteran blitz artist striding into Ford Field, ready to rewrite our defensive narrative. What if Holmes has already circled the league's premier off-ball linebacker, the kind of playmaker whose name sends shivers through opposing coordinators? Could someone like Akiem Hicks's former partner, Santonio Holmes, or even a trade for a proven Pro Bowler, be on the horizon now that the path is clear? Detroit's linebacker room stands at a crossroads. Lean hard into youth with Jack Campbell stepping into an every-down role, or parachute in a seasoned disruptor who commands respect from the moment he suits up. Think back to 1991, when Chris Spielman emerged as the heart and soul of our defense, rallying Detroit to one of its fiercest eras. Could Holmes recreate that magic by adding a modern-day Spielman to patrol the second level? The ripple effects alone are tantalizing. If that new addition can bookend with James Houston off the edge, our front seven transforms overnight from promising to downright fearsome. Imagine the collective roar as he stuffs Ezekiel Elliott at the line or chases down Justin Jefferson on a fly sweep. Every big play would reverberate through the Motor City like a championship rally cry. And for the young linebackers, the mentorship potential is off the charts. Campbell and Barnes would inherit not just playing time, but an on-field tutor whose every snap is a lesson in effort and film study. Financial architects in Detroit have already shown they can mold creative contracts. Performance incentives and front-loaded guarantees could lure a veteran while safeguarding long-term flexibility. Could Holmes be dangling an $8 million base with an extra $5 million in achievable bonuses tied to tackles, turnovers, and pro football focus grades? It's the kind of deal that screams, bet on yourself. And who better to thrive under pressure than a hungry veteran craving that elusive Super Bowl berth? Fans remember when we gambled on veterans like Darryl Talley in the early 90s and watched our defense roar. Are we about to witness a modern redux with our front office playing classical symphony notes in the cap ledger? Context matters. In 2024, Detroit allowed 131 rushing yards per game, the NFL's sixth worst mark, and ranked 25th in third down stopping percentage. But picture swapping in a true run-stopping stud. Someone who reads C-gap, blitzes like an open book, and clogs lanes with unapologetic aggression. Could committing to one marquee signing be the pivot that slashes those poor metric averages and flips pressure back onto opposing quarterbacks? By mid-season, critics might be forced to retract every doubter's tweet, as we watch our defense rise from mid-pack mediocrity to a top 10 juggernaut that suffocates opponents week after week, and let's not overlook the locker room chemistry. Detroit players admired Anzalone's film room zeal, but veteran leadership delivered with grit can galvanize a squad in ways stats can't measure. Imagine the Friday night headlines when this presumed new linebacker, rumored to have led the league in tackles for loss last season, shares sideline banter with Jared Goff, building trust and competitive spirit that trickles through every position group. Remember the sense of unity in 2016 when our defense bent but didn't break, and every sideline chest bump felt like a bond strengthened? This move could rekindle that camaraderie, fueling not just individual pride, but an entire fan base's belief that this defense is about to snap all doubts. Of course, skeptics warn against mortgage-sized contracts after we watched Matthew Stafford's deal hog cap space and limit off-ball flexibility, but Holmes's recent track record suggests he's learned from past gambles. Could a balanced approach, splitting resources between one high-impact veteran and a handful of mid-tier signings, deliver the best blend of star power and depth? Detroit's free agency window may be brief, but Brad's phone lines are likely, buzzing, and every tick of the clock amplifies the anticipation. Will he pull the trigger before training camp, or tease us with endless under-review updates until the preseason opener? Lions Nation, we stand on the precipice of a decision that could define this era. Will we load up on proven talent and chase a long-awaited championship, or place our faith entirely in the ascending heights of our draft heroes? With Anzalone gone, the question is no longer if, but who will rise to fill that void and steer our defense toward greatness. And when that name finally drops, will it spark the roar that shakes the rafters of Ford Field? Hold on to that thought, because whatever comes next, it's going to be the catalyst for Detroit's next defensive renaissance, and you won't want to miss a single moment of the ride.